This conference will now be recorded.
Our live. So welcome everybody. We've got a group online today. Katie Bob right there. He's in the background. So anyway, today we're going to go over the basics of Medicare and the famous boot camp. So we all moved into our new office. We're all getting settled in. About that time of year, we get things going again. So let's go ahead and get started. So for those that don't know me, my name is Jeff Wetzel. I'm president of Bridalwood Insurance. A little picture up there. My story was I started out almost 10 years to the day. October 8th will be my 10th anniversary when I joined Bridalwood Insurance. I joined because my mother had called me and said, "Hey, how do you do this stuff? Every year, my Medicare plan, my doctor changed. I got to change plans. I got to pick something out. I mean, I don't know how this stuff works. Can you help me out?" So I was like, "Well, don't you have an agent or somebody you work with?" So I said, "Well, let me give him a call and I'll find out what's going on. I'll get back to you." So I called the agent. He didn't bother to call back. So a day or so went by. I called him a second time, said, "Hey, buddy, second request, give me 5 minutes and so I can kind of review with my mom, see what's going on, and help her out." Again, no phone call back. So you know what? I wasn't going to go chase him down in Las Vegas. So I said, "Well, I'll tell you what. I'll go get out my own due diligence. I'll find my own, way here, and I'll get back to you." So I found my way to United Healthcare in San Diego. Found out who was in charge of the program. Asked him, "Hey, about my mom and this and that." And he goes, "We've got a training class coming up the next couple of days here. If you want, why don't you come down to the training class? You can kind of figure out for yourself." Yeah, sounds like a good deal. I went through the training class and kind of figured out how this Medicare works, and said, "You might be kind of good at this. If you don't mind, we have people that call in and ask for an agent to come out and help them do a phone appointment or a home appointments. Would you mind going on a few appointments?" So I did. I went on a few appointments and 10, 15 of those, and I just went, "Holy cow, this is just a wide open market. There's so much need out there." And, we looked at the situation that, with time, you could really build up a terrific business doing Medicare. I mean, you could be a financial planner and some what they have here, but problem is there's a lot of financial planners out there. There's a lot of people doing the same thing. And so, you could do a really good job and all of a sudden the market does this and the real estate does that. And the next thing you're the bad guy. So what I had was I went home, I told my wife, I know what I'm going to do the rest of my life. I basically washed my hands what I was doing. I got into Medicare and I've gone full time ever since. So that's kind of where we are today. So in my first 5 years, I was the #1 independent career associates. It's an ICA, is what that is for United. And, I just, you got a limited time. It takes a while to get built up. Well, the mortgage is still coming in. The car payments are still there. I mean, the kids are in school. They got, so you better go hard and fast because it takes a while to kind of get things built up. So I averaged 250 apps a year. So that's what I did 5 consecutive years in a row. You grow 250 apps, you lose about 10%. They die, they move, they this, they that. I want something other than United. I only did United Healthcare for the first 5 years. And to 5 years, I had about 1,000, 1,100 customers and kind of said, well, how do you get to 2,000? How do you get to 5,000? How do you get to 10,000? And the answer is there's only so many hours in a day. The only way you're going to get to 10,000 people is to have a company, have a group that you work with. So you train agents to help build their books, and that's how we help thousands more. So in the 4 years that we've started Bridalwood, we are #1 in San Diego. We're branching out Southern California. We are #2 in Denver. So far this year, we'll be #1 next year. Anyway, the point is kind of what we do works. There's a formula. There's a formula to doing this. And part of boot camp is to teach you the formula one step at a time. So this is a 12-week course, and we're going to do it. We did a little bit different this time. I did charge for it in the previous. It wasn't that, hey, I want to line my pockets. It was if you put money into it, you're probably going to be more inclined to show up for it because you paid for it. I wanted to offer something a little different this time is I'll go ahead and teach you the game, but as you know, and this is your business, Um, this is your profession. This is something you're building. And any good self-business owner is going to have to invest money into your business. So I don't know, Matt, do you ever invest money into your business, or it just happens automatically? The rent gets paid by somebody else pays the light bill, the cable bill, right? Or are you the one forking it up? You're investing in your future. And the same thing with this. So I can show you that if you invested $200 a month in this business, you can go a long ways to building a really good Medicare book. I don't think $200 is out of line, but we're going to teach you the basics first, and by week 3 or 4, you'll be ready to start taking some leads, making the phone calls, and going forward from there. So let's go ahead and move forward. So right now, we are in a period of time that we've never seen before. I'm sure you've never heard of this term called baby boomers, right? So between 1946 and 64, I was born in 62, so I'm right at the tail end of the baby boomers. So 76 million babies were born, and that whole group is going through the channel, I guess, going through aging, and they are now turning 65. And so for the next 15 years, just in San Diego alone, there's 2,000 people turning 65 every single month. That trend's going to continue the next 15 years to come. 2,000 people every single month turning 65. Have you heard the term, it's 10,000 in the country, 10,000 every day turning 65? It's actually, the number's about 7,500. It's about 7,500, and about 5 years from now, it's going to be about 12,500. The wave of this thing is still coming. So the top of the wave is about 5 years from now. 5 years from now, it'll be about 12,500 a day, and then it kind of, so over average is 10,000 over the period of time. But right now, we are sitting in the driver's seat of where you want to be for at least the next 15 years. I believe what you do in the, there we go. We're in year 6 of the 18-year cycle, and you know they all need kind of the Medicare insurance. And so what I've said is that the 55 million Americans, 46 are age in, 9 million are disability, and by 2030, expected to reach 79 million members. 2030, that's a long ways from now, right? 2030, it's 12 years. Isn't that long? 12 years. I mean, I'm watching movies that were less than 12 years and go, God, didn't I just go to that one? 12 years away, 24 million people are going to be joining Medicare. So that's kind of peak of it is, but then they all need the help and going afterwards. So opportunity is missed by most people because it's dressed in overalls and it looks like work. If there is a secret sauce to this business, it's a lot of agents don't like to work. This business is filled with lazy agents. They're lazy. They don't like to work. They don't like to get up in the morning. I don't like to make phone calls. I don't want to go to Arch and sit at the table. I don't want to come in at night and make phone calls and go on appointments. I'd rather sit at home. I just want to sit on the couch and have them wire me money. I mean, that's what I want, but it doesn't work like that. So you got to be able to go to work. Really the question is, why are you here? I mean, there's nobody in this business is going to call you up and say, Matt, it's like 9:30, you're not here. I don't see you. Nobody's going to call you. Nobody's going to chase after you. You guys are all independent contractors. It's your own show to run. Nobody's going to motivate you. So I guess the question is, what are you doing here? I mean, there's all kinds of reasons why you want to be here. Maybe I want to make more money. Maybe I want to do this. I mean, make more money, build my business, help people. I mean, they're all good things. I mean, frankly, for myself, I was coming up at the point where I was looking at how do I build my business to go bigger. I mean, at 1,000, 1,200 customers, I'm pretty comfortable, but I don't know. I got last 2 kids were going off to college. There's going to be an empty nester. What else I got to do? I'm 55 years old. I got to do something for the next 10 years. Hey, why not go build a big Medicare business and see how that turns out? So 2 kids in school. I got one at University of Minnesota, going to vet school at 75 grand a year. Another one's at Fullerton. Got this place, got a home, got a this, got bills. So the point is, that's what gets me up in the morning. I got things to do and people to see. And in the meantime, if I do really good at my job, it really helps a lot of seniors out there. If we can train our agents how to be good Medicare agents, it passes down and it helps thousands of people out there. So, my thing is that's what drives me. So everybody's an individual has to find out what reason, what is it that gets you up in the morning. And that's another one that's everybody wants to eat, but few are willing to work. They have the poster that everybody wants to eat, but nobody wants to work for it. And I keep coming back to that point because the more that I've talked to the agents, it's if you're coming in here and just waiting for me to hand you leads and hand you appointments, it's probably not going to work. You're going to have to do this on your own. So last one is reasons why agents don't succeed in this business. Number one, they're just lazy. And it's actually a good thing because those of us that are willing to work, you can take over a lazy agent business. You'll find their customers. I mean, how many times in this business or any business, you talk to somebody, you go, somebody signed me up a couple years ago, they put me on this plan and I've never heard from them since. Never heard from them again. How do you do that? How do you sign somebody up? You worked so hard to find that customer and then you just sign them and then just leave them. Nope, never going to talk to them again. I got what I wanted. I got my sale, I'm out of here. Well, guess what? In Medicare, it's different. The sale is simply the start. It's simply it's the wedding. Now you're going to be married with them for their journey through Medicare, and you're going to stay with it on top of it. So other thing is fail to train. So that's kind of what we're doing here. I mean, I can take my AHIP and get done with it. I still don't know what I'm going to do next. I still don't know how I'm going to build a Medicare book, but it's nice. I don't invest in my business. I know guys right now that you could go pull up, they got the fanciest YouTube videos you ever saw. And they've been out there for 4 or 5 months and they got like 12 hits. 4 months. What was the point? They never invest in their business. They never paid to have the thing advertised to get it out there. I mean, you could have all the greatest tools in the world and study. I'm telling you, it's so crazy. Why would somebody come in this business, go to get your California insurance license, pay your E&O insurance, get your AHIP, right? Do all the study and all the modules, get the crap done, get to the point where you're finally able to write business and then, I don't want to invest in my business and I don't write anything. I get zero. I'm telling you, I'll bet it's 40%. 40% will come through and they'll maybe find 1 or 0. I mean, you have all these lists of people and you got 40% don't write a thing for the entire year. What's the point of certifying, going through all this stuff? You just like reading this stuff and doing it? I mean, the point is to do all this work, jump through these hoops. You're finally able to write some business. Now's the time you step in. This is what the whole point was to get here, was to go to work to find somebody to talk to. So anyway, the last one is the lack of mental capacity. It's French for they're too stupid to be in the business. I'm sorry to put it any other way, but frankly, that's it. Why would you go through all this work and then at the point where you're finally ready to go, then you go, I don't know what I want to do this. Anyway, okay, don't get me started. Next one. People often say motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily. So, you know what? The thing about it is it's easy to get down. It's easy to get down on yourself. You make 100 phone calls, 99 people tell you you're a piece of crap and hang up on you. Guess what? I don't care who you are. It's got something on your psyche. It hurts. It hurts to have somebody tell you that. I mean, any salesperson better learn how to take rejection. And it's like water on a duck, right? Off the back, no problem, move on to the next one. Listen, the second they hang up the phone, they forgot about you. They don't know who you are. You were just a voice on the phone. And their biggest thing they did all day was get you off the phone. I feel good because I just got a salesman off my phone, bang. But if you make 99 phone calls and all of a sudden one person says, you're right. I'm turning 65 next month. I've been putting this thing off. You're right. I got to get this thing going. What do I need to do? Can you come over and help me get me signed up? That one person just made your whole week. I mean, that one person just paid for that whole 3, 4, 5 hours you're on the phone hitting it. If you make $600 and you're on the phone for 3 hours, well, that works out to $200 an hour. I don't know. Can you go to McDonald's and work for $200 an hour? You got your head beat in for 2 hours and 59 minutes, but you got one to work, and that's all you need. That's all you need. So you just got to stay after it. With Medicare, you're not really selling, and that's the point you have to get across. You are not a salesperson. You are a problem solver, right? They're coming to you not because they got all this stuff figured out. They're coming to you because they don't know what to do, and they don't want to make a mistake. So if you can help them solve their problem, then you are going to be their best friend for life. And they're going to send their friends to you because you took care of their problem, right? So you are a problem solver. So when you come across something, I don't want to make phone calls today because I have this going on. Well, that's your problem. You better solve it because this is in the business that you're in. Those people that solve problems do very well in this business. A weird trait that I found? Weird. So I've been doing this for a while, and I met lots of agents, and I kind of look at the top producers, the guys that really do well. And I went back and I said, what is it, common trait that they have that really makes these guys stand out? What was it? What gene inside them really kind of turns them on? And you know what I found? Is that at some point in their life, they were down in their luck, down on their knees. I mean, life took them to the as lowest level, and they got off the carpet and said, never again. They solved their problem. They figured out how to get ahead. And I got to tell you, you get these top producers, you don't have to scratch very hard to find out under that surface there's something in their life, and they never want to go back to that place in that life again, and they will work whatever it takes to avoid that, going back to that situation again. And it's weird how that happens, and I don't know how that all translates, but almost the top 10 producers in Bridalwood, I can go down the list, and every single one of them had some catastrophic event in their life that they recovered from, but said, I'll never go back there again. And so anyway, weird how that happens, but it does. We're here to teach you how to build a Medicare marketing system. I'm going to teach you what worked for me. Now, what worked for me is probably different than worked for Matt. Matt's probably got a whole different approach. He's got his whole different approach that he does for his customers that he does with his finding new customers for his financial planning business. He's got his thing worked out. So if I went to Matt's class, he's go, here's how I built my business. Here's how I do copy what I do. It'll probably work for you. So in the Medicare business, what I'm going to teach you is way that I built it. And it's been kind of a proven system because I've taught agents over and over and over, and they take it, they implement it, and they do well with it. So it isn't rocket science. We're not doing something you haven't seen before. It's hard work, communication with the customers, and all kind of works out. So this is something that I've referred back to millions of times. You have a plan. Your plan at the top is I'm here, and in 2 years, I want to have 300 Medicare customers. So 0 to 300 in the next 2 years, 150 apps a year. It's a great plan. Let's put it in place. But ultimately, it's going to look like this. It's going to be reality. You're going to go along, and all of a sudden there's dips in the road, and all of a sudden I haven't written an app in a week, and all of a sudden you run into 3, 4, 5, and you're up and you're down, you're this and that. All of a sudden you look back and you go, you know what, I made it, but there was a lot of pitfalls along the way. What happens is we lose a lot of agents right at that first, right here. They get to that first dip in the road and they go, this isn't for me. This isn't working. I only made $500. It's not good enough, doesn't pay the bills. Well, it's 500, but if you multiply it times 10 and then you do it another 10, you do another 10, it adds up. So it works out. So a good system shortens the road. Unfortunately, I should have probably did this sooner, but a lot of times we get into this business and it's like, here you go, here's your license, wish you luck. If you happen to bump into something, give me a call, let me know. Well, the thing about it is if you kind of learn a way of doing things, you don't have to go through the trial and tribulations of making the million mistakes because I've already did it. You know, I wish I had somebody when I started out that I could have gotten behind, have mentors so I could like shorten the time, but we learn the hard way, and that's kind of how it is in life. So boot camp is going to be something that we are going to do together. So kind of move this over so I can see. So the first things first, setting up your database. So that's kind of today's class is how we're going to set our database up, because in this business, you have three kinds of people. You have leads, you have prospects, you have customers. Leads, prospects, and customers. Everybody comes into one of the three things: leads, prospects, or customers. So a lead is just a name. It's in the phone book, it's just a name. You don't have any relationship with, never talk to them. It's somebody that could represent it as somebody that I buy leads all the time. I can get every person turning 65, San Diego, for April of 2019. Here's my list of 2,000 people. And of that list, I got 2,000 there, and about 10% have phone numbers. So of the 2,000, I'll get 200 that come with phone numbers along with it. It's just a lead. I don't have anything more about it. But if I do a mailing to them, and one of them responds and sends back a business reply or picks up the phone and calls me, I just turned into a prospect, right? So the prospects go on your prospect list. And how does a prospect get off your prospect list? They buy or they die. Sorry, it's kind of gross, but anyway, they don't come off. That's the point. As a prospect is somebody that you're going to drip on, and either they turn into a customer or they just remain a prospect. Now, if they come back and they say, don't ever call me again, all right, I'll take you out. But in the meantime, prospects stay. And obviously customers, everybody knows what that is. We finally won. We got on with our customer, and we've got somebody for life. And that,
Yeah, tell me all my questions if you want to keep going on, but how can we call these people? If I get a list of everyone turning 65, I mean, can I start calling? Is there rules regarding
there are rules, and there are also rules for, I can't call somebody about a Medicare Advantage prescription drug plan, but I can call somebody about a Medicare supplement plan. Call them all day long. Yep. So Medicare supplement plans are unregulated. So I can call on a med sup all day long. And you just never know. The conversation may turn toward, you know, an Advantage plan, but I can certainly call them, initiate a call over a med sup all day long. Yep.
So if you have one that wants to become a sub plan, you said, I really want to do Advantage plan. That's when you get that form.
Yeah. Scope of appointment. Yep. So typically what you can do then, and they've even loosened the scopes up so you can get same day scopes. So you can set the appointment, go out to the customer's house before we sit down. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. We talk about prescription drug plans, and Advantage plans. So SUPs, drugs, and Advantage, sign here. All right, let's go in the conversation. What you don't do is you don't go in for a med sup, and while I'm here, let's find out how much money you got in annuities, and let's roll that over, and life insurance, and, you know, final expense, and no. So that's a whole nother appointment on its own. All right, so really the first thing we're going to do is set up your database, because your database is everything. You got to know who these people are and who you're talking to, because pretty soon you're going to have so many people that you're talking to, you can't keep all the conversations straight. And you'll talk to somebody that's turning 65, and 40% of the people turning 65 are going to work past the age of 65. So what happens is, how are you going to stay in touch with those 40 people? So 40%. What happens is, guy says, well, I'm 65, my wife is 63, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to work for 2 more years. I'll retire then, and then we'll both jump onto Medicare. So you put him on your little database. You were going to drip on him every month, and 2 years from now, you get a phone call, says, Matt, I don't know if you remember me, but I talked to you 2 years ago, and I was really impressed what you had to say, and yep, we're ready to go. Can you come out and sign us both up? Those are twofers, right? Love twofers, you get 2 at the same time. So that's how it works. So database, newsletters. How are you going to stay in touch with this guy? I love newsletters. I built the book on newsletters, right? Stay in touch with your customers. So your customers and your prospects get a newsletter every single month. Every month they're going to hear from you. And the best part is, I write the newsletter. I hand it to you. You can use any, oh, the wife writes the newsletter because I got the dirty look. So then you can change it any way you see fit. Your picture, your contact, your information, your birth dates, your personal notes, your whatever you want. But the point is the structure is all there. So 90% of it's already done for you. So there's really no excuse not to put a newsletter out. You can file electronically, or we can send it out Pony Express, and I have all the machinery in the back that can crank all this stuff out. All right, so the next one is product training. You're gonna learn what you're talking about, right? So you gotta know what you're talking about. Not that hard, right? Learn the plans in this area, not that hard. If you're with Sharp, you got this group to work with. If you're with Scripps, you got this, you know. So we'll go through the product training so you'll have it down. Next is phone training. So how are you gonna talk on the phone? First person that says, "Hi, Mr. Jones, this is Bill. How are you today?" Click. We're going to learn how to get on the phones and how to speak correctly. You are not a salesperson. You're more like a doctor, right? You go to the doctor's office and he's, "Hi, Matt, how are you?" No, it's like doctors like, "Hey, I see you got a pain. You came to see me. Where does it hurt? Right? What can I do for you?" And it's kind of the same. We're in that same type of business. We're in a consulting business where you're going to ask some questions, find out what's going on, figure out the situation, put the pieces in place so you can solve that customer's problem. That's the business we're in. 7 questions you need to ask. I mean, is it important to find out if the guy's taking some expensive medicine? Maybe who his doctor is? Is he turned on to Social Security? Is that important? Absolutely. So what 7 questions you need to find out from that customer? The 7 questions are different from somebody that's already on Medicare versus somebody that's getting onto Medicare versus somebody that is working past the age of 65 and they're coming off their group insurance. Different sets of questions. So we're going to learn how to do that. Face-to-face training, how to make 100,000 in Medicare. It's not just buying leads. There's all kinds of things you can do. Mobile home parks. Love them. Mobile home parks. Built a book on mobile home parks. So Medi training. So you need to know that. These are people that are financially strapped and there's all kinds of plans that are out there. Got to know how to deal with them, because if there's a customer complaint that I see come in, it's typically from the Medi market because the agent didn't understand what they were doing. So they pushed the wrong button when they shouldn't have. Retail opportunities, invest in your business, marketing yourself. You know, I'll get a new agent that comes in. "Hey, Jeff, I want to join Bridalwood." First thing I do is Google him. So let's Google him. Joe Blow Insurance. Boom, send. See if I can see the guy. If I see him come back and he's got all kinds of stuff and videos and this and that, and hey, this guy's all right. I come back, can't even find him on Google. Can't even find him anywhere. I waste my time. Guy's doesn't market. I mean, you better market yourself. You're going to be out there. So not that hard. Lots of opportunities to market for free. Get yourself out there, little profile, so people can find you. And finally, graduation party. We've already got the booze set up in the back. I don't know if everybody saw that, so we're already ready for you. So if you need to have a graduation party, let's move on. All right. Click on next. There we go. So what we're going to do is tools that are needed. So there's a few things that we kind of do, and I want to get everybody on the same page. So there's a couple things you may want to write down. I'm going to send out all this and everybody that's online. We've got quite a few online today. So we'll send out the first couple of chapters here so you have the same slides I do. But first thing I want to do is have a computer. You're going to need a computer eventually if you don't have one already. Laptop or iPad. Simple laptop works pretty darn good. As you can see, I'm working off one right here, and you can do all kinds of stuff with it. So with new apps these days, so much more is electronic. We want to get away from paper apps and file electronically if we can. Those are good. Microsoft Publisher. We put our newsletter out in Publisher, so it's easy to have Publisher and then come back and make any changes. If you don't have Publisher and you're trying to do it in Excel and you're doing this, it's kind of a mess. So keep it simple. Invest a little bit in your business. Go get Microsoft Publisher. I think you can buy it off the shelf for, I don't know, Google it, you'll find it. Excel program, pretty much anybody has Microsoft has Excel, pretty simple. So we're going to start building our database off of Excel. Rubber office stamp. So I want a stamp that says from the office of Matt Copley. Rubber stamp. You can get them at Staples, about 20 bucks. I'll give the details of the font and the size and everything. What happens is your newsletters go out, but it has Bridalwood as envelopes, because I'll give you the Bridalwood envelopes for free, unless you want to provide your own. That's fine. You have the Bridalwood envelopes, and then underneath, you'll just put your stamp, so from the desk of. So it goes out to your customers and your prospects. They see it's from you, so they'll go ahead and get it open. Professional picture and a biography of yourself. So we're going to help market you. We'll put you on our Bridalwood site, have your own little profile for yourself. So anybody that Googles you, you'll pull up on your profile, and you'll have a picture. So I like a professional picture versus others that are out there. Like I said, the Microsoft publisher, I did a quick check on there. I found them anywhere from 52 to 59 bucks. You can buy them online. Just get a copy for yourself. It doesn't have to be the latest and greatest. I know the last ones, they want you to pay monthly and all this. I like the ones where you just pay one time and put it on your computer and you got it. Then you have to keep paying Microsoft. They got enough money. Excel program, pretty much anybody that has Microsoft Office, get an Excel comes with it. Rubber stamp from Vista print. I think they're 1874, and it's a 275 by 1, so 2 3/4 inch by 1. Basically, you want to say from the desk of, then your name in bigger letters, so they see it. Doesn't have to be real fancy. Just basically, you're just capturing that attention. I don't know about you. I go to the mailbox. I take my mail. I'm standing over the trash can. I'm just fling, fling, fling. It doesn't even get in the house. I'm just throwing stuff. And you get that half a second to catch their attention and go, oh, maybe I should open this one. All right. So you're going to look like advertising. They want to catch their attention before they trash it. Bios of yourself, pictures. So there's Bill Murray in the left and then some guy here in the right. Point is, don't stand up in the back of a wall. Don't take a selfie and use that as your professional picture. So go get a decent picture. I actually have a daughter who has a really fancy camera, and we got the background and all that heavy stuff. So if you don't have the money to go get a professional picture, we will do one for you, and we'll keep taking it until we get a good one. So point is, don't put this stuff on your website. Don't put this kind of picture out there. I got a few out there now just like, oh my God, really? Are you sure this is how you want to represent yourself? So anyway, take a professional picture. This is what represents you out there to people. All right. Again, today we're starting fee. I did 200 a month, and you got so many leads and so many newsletters and weekly classes and all that. But I said, you know what? Let's do a little bit different this time. So let's do it where I'm not in it. I don't feel like I'm trying to shake you guys down. It's totally not what I'm trying to do here. Trying to do is teach you how to be good Medicare agents, and then ultimately I'm going to recommend you investing in your business. If you do it, great. If you don't, cool. So if you got a whole book of business with 3,000 customers, you probably don't need to go buy leads, right? So why would I have to shake you down for it? Good. That was kind of the introduction. If you're willing to say this isn't worth it, then we move forward. Like I said before, data is pretty much everything in this business. Those that have your data straight are going to be so much farther ahead of anybody else. Remember the guy that signed that customer up 2 years ago and never talked to him again? Well, guess what happens? In the Medicare business, things change from year to year. You know, whatever was happened last year is different this year. Now you need to reach out to that customer and you go, oh, boy, I should go find out who that person is. You know who has that representing now is the agents in Minnesota. There's agents in Minnesota that have been writing Blue Cross Blue Shield for years and years and years. They got 2,000 to 3,000 customers, but never bothered to keep track of them. They're just writing them and moving on. And guess what? All those plans are being terminated this year. They're going away. And now they have to go back and build a 15-year database and go find out who their customers are, because all their plans are going away and he's losing his entire income is being shut down this year. So those people are scrambling because they never stayed on top of it. If you're in the Bridalwood system, it's simply a push a button because you know exactly who everybody is and where they are. You can send a letter out to them, stay on top, and keep track of your book. But Those people that are lazy, that don't take care of their customers, are the ones that are going to suffer. Data is everything. Our prospects, our customers, and our leads are something you're going to keep straight. And what we're going to do is we're going to push our leads into prospects, and our prospects turn into customers. And you don't have to be a brain surgeon to figure that out. So, like I said, the information is everything. And your customers, this is what they're seeing. This is what they're seeing right here. They don't understand how it all works. It's kind of complicated. It's simple, but it just looks complicated from the outside. And the government and all this stuff, they kind of make a mess of it. You know, and they late enrollment penalties and the B's and the C's and the D's and the A's and how does this work? And you know, the whole thing is I got a job to do and I'm trying to understand how this works and I don't want to make a mistake. And hey, I get it. That's what keeps us employed. So our job is to understand how it works so you can explain it in an easy to read situation. As anybody that's been in the business or been in sales, it's all about the number of leads, turns into our prospects, which turns into ultimately into our customers. And you're going to need 1,000 leads to find 100 prospects to write 10 apps. And this business, probably a little bit, prospects turning into your customers are probably a little bit higher than that. Because if you are targeting your particular leads, we know all these people, we know they're turning 65, we know that they have to do this. So it's just to ultimately is to get them to come to our direction instead of having to sign up with somebody else. So there's really two stages in somebody's life. When they're turning 16, they're getting their driver's license. When they turn 65, they're getting onto Medicare. So at that point in time, difference is if the DMV ever paid agents to sign somebody up at 16, the DMV would be a ghost town because we could take care of it for them and sign them up and take care of agents would do that. You know, when it turns to 65, it's such an easy process because they're paying us to take care of them. So that's what makes it work. Point is, you need lots of leads, needs lots of products, prospects to turn into customers and build your base. Point is, once we get into our customers, we are going to communicate with our prospects and our customers every single month. CRM system, customer relationship management system. We have a CRM system that we use. It's free of charge. It's one of the few. There's a lot of them out there. There's even people that are pushing CRM systems. Look at me, I've got this big fancy CRM system. Guess what? CRM systems don't write apps, but they do keep your data straight. So it's like the story of the guy that's, when I saw some average looking guy, and every time he sees him, he's got a beautiful girl under his arm. He's, oh boy, I'm gonna be just like him. So I'm gonna go out and get the big fancy car and the big fancy house because that must be the trick, right? So he bought the house, he bought the car, he bought all these fancy clothes, still no girlfriend. What's the problem? At the end of the day, he goes to the guy and he goes, you know, every time I see you got a beautiful woman under your arm. I mean, what is it? Is you got a fancy car? No, I drive this piece of crap. You got a nice house? No, I live in an apartment. Well, what is it? He says, I asked him to go out on a date. I asked for the order. Isn't that something? So you get all these fancy CRM systems and all this happy stuff. At the end of the day, it's sitting down with a customer, individual relationship, asking them to take care and solve their problem. So if you do that, you're going to do great in this business. You didn't like the story? I thought it was great. All right, leads, prospects, and customers. So prospects and your customers get a monthly newsletter, and your customers will then get rewarded in birthdays and referrals in our newsletter, and we'll go over it in a little bit. The newsletter has different parts that we've shown over the years to be very successful. So we list their birthday in there, and if I ever get a complaint, it's because I missed somebody's birthday. You missed me this month, and I was looking forward to seeing it. So sorry, I'll make it up next month. Referrals. So if you reward your customers, people love to see their name in your newsletter. So if you're rewarding them by putting their name in a newsletter, they are going to be bird dogging and looking for customers for you because they get to see their name in your newsletter. Funny as it sounds, but it's actually true and it works. So good habits will take you where you want to go. And that's really what we're trying to learn here. We're going to learn good habits, monthly habits, things you're going to do on a consistent basis. If I get up every day, I'm going to shave, I'm going to brush my teeth, I'm going to, comb my hair. daily habits, things I'm gonna do every day. I'm gonna put my seatbelt on every time I get in the car. It's a habit, good habit, right? Same thing in sales, good habits all the time. You can't just do it once in a while. Oh, I think I'll send out a newsletter this month and I'll skip it for 3 years. Doesn't work like that. Every month, same thing, every month. Do the same thing over and over and over. Okay, so weekly homework, we're gonna give you homework to work off of, and I want you to build a database. So your database is gonna consist of customers, prospects. That's all I need right now, customers and prospects. If you do have leads, we'll put that in a different column by itself. Your prospects and your customers are gonna get a newsletter. And we're just about that time of month where we're putting their newsletter together for October, which is an important newsletter. This is the time of the year when things start kicking off. Everybody knows Medicare season kicks off October 1, right? For those people who think it starts October 15, it doesn't. You can take an app as of October 15, but October 1, about a week away, you can start putting all this stuff out and telling your customers, here's the co-pays and here's what's going on. Ultimately, the material is out now. I mean, we just got our shipment in yesterday in the back room, all the 2019 stuff. So it's available. Point is that you're going to build a database so that we want to get a newsletter out this month. All right, let's get it working. Once you have your database built, the rest of it all works pretty easy. So here's kind of how it works. So each in your Excel spreadsheet, each column has a different title, a different information you can put in. Column A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. So each one, I don't want to see John Smith, Sage Summit Road, Poway, all in one line. Everything has to be separate. So you're gonna have to have a separate, so for the zip and the state and the E, all have a different column to themselves. When it comes to birth dates, if you're born 2/24/62, don't pull it all in one. So 2/24/62. So if you're going to pull up your birth dates for your agents, for your customers, excuse me, and you have to find out, hey, I wonder everybody's going to have a birth date in the month of October, right? I'm going to go to my October month and get all the people that I can, all the October babies are in the column. If you have it all together, you can't distinguish, you can't break it out. I want to look at all my customers that are 64 years old. So I can come into the date and look at ones that are 64. So if you don't have birth dates on prospects, you probably don't know when they were born, but your customers, you would probably have that information. So the point is, when I come to my software to go pull out to do the newsletter, I'm going to go to my software and it says, pull the first name, then the last name, then skip down. And then underneath, add the address, then skip below that, and then put city, state, and zip. So I can tell my software to put everything on the envelope, and it pulls that data out. I don't need to know their date of birth. I don't need to know that stuff, but it's nice to have it so that you can pull it for your newsletter. Data is everything. So if you break it down correctly and you build your database, you always have this going for you. And every time that we have a new prospect coming on, we add that to our database. Ultimately, we're going to transfer this into our CRM system that keeps it all that, and we put our notes in and all that. But for now, we build it on a spreadsheet and then we import it into our CRM system. So as you build your database starting out, many of you are brand new, so you probably don't have a database. Got a database? Don't have it. I don't have any customers. So this is going to be easy. So first week is good. So Matt's going to probably have some work to do as he builds his database and puts all that together. So that's for week 1. So coming back on it, phone, spouse's phone, date of birth, you know, January 12th, 1953, their Medicare number, the spouse's date of birth. I mean, keep your data correctly, but the point is keep it in separate columns. If you have separate columns, then we can go back and extract that data and use that. If you lump it all together, then it's all lumped together. We can't extract it. Does that make sense? Any questions on that? Everybody have Excel? How many know how to use or don't know how to use Excel? It's pretty basic, right? Everybody knows how to do that? If not, what we do is I can send you a sample Excel spreadsheet, and then all you have to do is then just add in the names underneath it. You don't even have to create it. I already created it for you. So I can email it to you, she can email it to you, and put all that stuff in, and then you just fill in the names underneath. So Jack Smith, address, city, state, zip. If you have their date of birth, put it in. If you don't, then that's fine too. We'll get it later. All right, so that gets you going on it. All right. Final part is kind of what you want to add. If you want to add spouse's email, notes, kind of whatever you put in, we'll be able to extract that and put that into your CRM system. So basic information is I want name, address, phone number, date of birth if you have it. Are they a customer or are they prospect? In our business, it's really cool that you sold somebody to a life insurance policy and they're 45 years old. That doesn't do any good for me. 20 years, give me a call, we'll sign them up for Medicare. This is Medicare business. So I'm looking at Medicare names. Basically people that are 62, 3, 4, 5, upcoming, we can drip on them. They're prospects because we know we're coming. If you have somebody that you're doing a financial planning seminar for, you're planting the seed that, hey, when it comes to 65, don't worry, I got it covered, come to me. But in the meantime, we want to market. I don't want to be sending a lot of mail and burning postage to people that are 60 years old. I don't care what they're doing. They're not physically able to sign up for 5 more years. So generally 64, basically the magic number is about 7 months out. 7 months from turning 65, that's kind of the golden frame. These people are starting to thinking about it. They're looking at it. Even if we do seminars online, people year and a half out. So a lot of people year and a half out, that's a long ways to be marketing to, a lot of money to spend. 7 months. And a lot of agents, remember the lazy agents? Well, you can't sign somebody up unless they're 3 months out. I don't want to do anything unless I can go out and sign the customer up in the first time. Well, that's 3 months out. The point is, the first one to the kitchen table wins. If you remember nothing else today, remember that. First one to the kitchen table wins. The first one on that customer's kitchen table, the first person who goes out, pitches Medicare to them at their place and they're on that appointment, 80% of the time, they're going to go with that agent, all right? 80% of the time. First one to the kitchen table wins. So we want to be out there and we want to be first. Okay, so your database is going to kind of look like this when it's all done. So first name, last name, address, city, state, zip, all in a different column. So when you send me your database, you say, here we go. Here's my database I need for October. And basically I get an email with 2 attachments. I get your newsletter and I get your database. All right. So your newsletter is generally printed out. I'll take a look at it. Maybe a line is off or something. I can correct it. Printing, we'll get to that in a little bit. But your newsletter, your database, is we pull it out. I run it through the envelope printer. Out the door she goes. Okie dokie, and this is what an email looks like. This is typical Bernie Ellebrecht. This is what he sends me every month. So my newsletter is attached. We're going to Cabo. Typical every month. Hey, I'm going here. It's like, well, wish I could go on vacation. So point is, Bernie's out there. He sends me his database, sends me his newsletter, wishes me luck, tells me what part of the world he's off to next. So technically, what I do is I take his newsletter. I did print it previous, but I got so busy that what I'll do is I'll send that over to FedEx. We got a discount code at FedEx. We get about 80% off. So I send it to FedEx and I go, here, print this thing up. And then I print off his envelopes that for his database. And I go to FedEx and pick up his newsletters and run them through the machine. And 20 minutes later, folded and ready to go for the bulk mail and get him out the door and invoice him for the damage and done deal. His newsletter is done. We provided a service for all his customers that he has. He's on vacation, but every month, he's talking to his customers. Every month they hear from him. Is he here? Is he on the phone? He takes his calls. They call in, need some. The guy's basically retired, but he stays in touch with that book every single month. So when somebody needs something, they can find him. And when I get it to referral, his referrals alone keeps his book floating. Referrals are coming in, people pass away, and it keeps that book. It's a simple newsletter every single month. And basically, do you want to get into the newsletters? Where are we at for time? You know what? We got 8 minutes. We actually got a little early today. Let's go into how to build a newsletter and jump ahead a little bit. So we'll probably start with this next month. I was thinking about it. I don't want to go too much. Why? You want to do this part? You want? Oh, you want to take over this part? Well, come on up, take over. You want to do the newsletter? You write it. You should probably teach it. Thanks. All right. All right. Let's go into the newsletter. You guys got a few minutes? Stick around. I mean, we're recording, so they'll stick around. Single most best thing you can do to build your business is communicate with your customers and prospects in a monthly newsletter. So if you want to write 250 apps a year, you better communicate with your customers. You better be on top of it. I think we have this slide. I don't look if it's coming up. There's really two kinds of agents out there. There's a kind of the hunters and the farmers. You know, the hunter is a guy that's out just looking for the kill. He's looking for the sale. He's looking to write that app. I mean, he's chasing these people down. He gets them. He writes the app. Boom, he's out of here. Never going to hear from that person again. He's just looking for that hunt. He's a hunter. I'm out there prospecting, you know, looking for the kill. Then you got the guy that's like he's like a financial advisor. He's the farmer type. He's cultivating his book, his crops he has already. He's already got his customers. He does customer appreciation dinners, and he's taking them to ball games. He takes a good customer and makes him a great friend. That's a farmer type. He stays within his zone. He's not a really good prospector, but if you know somebody bumps into him, he'll be friends with him. But in this business, you need to be a little bit of both. So the hunter has a weakness in that the person that says, some guy signed me up from 2 years ago and never heard from him since, well, that was a hunter, right? He made his kill, he got his commission, he's gone. So the farmer guy, he's another one. He never really gets very big. He just kind of has his own little crop, his own little 50 acres that he farms, and he doesn't really get much past that. He doesn't really build. So in our business, what we need to do is a little bit of both. You need to be a good hunter, but you also need to be a good farmer. You need to find that customer. They also need to be able to take care of them. So we have our marketing arm and our work that we go out to find that customer, whether it's different mails or we go to different situation in marketing. Once we find that customer, then we want to take care of them, because that customer is somebody that we want to stay on forever and ever and take care of that person, because guess what? They know other people out there that they'll refer business to you. And so that's why we want to be in that neck of the woods. So making a newsletter. So there's really a couple parts to it. It's your picture, it's your name on top. Bridalwood News, if you can use that, or if you've got your own little thing that you want to do that. On the left is you have the birth dates. You list the person's birth dates for their month in there. And if you don't have 3 pages of birth dates, take the top 10 of mine off and put your 10 birth dates on there. List your people on there. Generally the front page is a story of the month, some kind of generic, something that's out there everybody can kind of relate to. So building newsletters, you got to make it fun to read, include birth dates, put a joke in. I don't know how many times I've told people I built a business on dirty jokes. You know, just something's got a little off color, a little more bite to it. You know, so everybody's heard the boring, stupid, well, that was a dumb joke. Well, you get something kind of a good joke in there. Those seniors, they love those jokes. So put a good joke in, and they love that. So sending rewards for your referrals. I think technically I can't actually give somebody a reward for sending a referral in. It can't be a direct thing, but you can do a drawing, right? So everybody that sends a referral in this month, I put them in and I get a drawing, and I draw out for a Starbucks card for anybody that sends a referral in it. You know, appreciate your business. Thank you very much. I'll take care of this person as if they're our own. Your name goes in a drawing. It's just in my book, seems like everybody wins the drawings every week, so it kind of works out. I like to reward those people, and also the personal notes. The personal notes of the newsletter is probably the second biggest thing beyond the jokes. That's your opportunity to teach your customers about you, your family, your personal, something that they learn about you, so they know about you, and you're not just some salesman out there. So again, we come back to the newsletter, page 1, is we talked about the birth dates and your picture that's going to go on there. Page 2 is the funnies. Generally, I have a file. I have a file in my desk. If I come across something on the internet that looks interesting, oh, my clients would like that, or that's a kind of a funny joke. Pinterest, anybody know Pinterest? Right? I've been finding jokes on Pinterest lately. They're pretty good. Now, some of you got to clean up a little bit, so you change a few words. But the point is, you read it and you chuckle. And typically in this business is customers are kind of like their agent. You like to attract, and they like to attract somebody that reminds them of themselves. You know, you remind me of my grandson. So the point is if you like it, that probably your customers will think it's funny too. There'll be a few that, you know, and there's some things you want to stay away from. Religion, they get weird about the religion, and politics as long as it's kind of clean and it hits both sides. So yeah, so that point is you got a funny picture that looks, you know, put that in there. So page 2 is important with your jokes. Page 3 is kind of the catch-all page. It's a overflow of birth dates. I have a 90+ club. So all of my customers that turn 90 years old, I put them in a special club and I list them. Whoever's the oldest gets number 1, and then list them 1 through 10. So the 90+ club. So people, I tell you what, they don't want to see their birth date. Don't list my age. They get to 90, man, all that changes. Yeah, baby, I hit 90. So you get 90, they're looking forward to it. So they're there. Solar systems. So I had a story on the solar systems. Just let you know, I had some guys doing some solar in my house. I told them what I did. They said if I'd run an article, they'd knock $2,000 off my solar, so I did. So I got $2,000 off my solar for putting the ad in. Anyway, so they did a good job for me, and they got 2 customers out of it. 2 of my customers actually called them and did their solar job. So they're totally in for it. Problem is I'm maxed out. I can't put any more solar in my house, so I can't get any more business out of them. Page 4, the referrals from April. So that month I got 1, 2, 3, 4 referrals came in. So Tina and Jenny Seipel referred Marilyn Kaysen. You know, congratulations. So, you know, there's $600 a piece times 4 is $2,400. Let me think. I sent $40 in Starbucks cards and I made $2,400 in commission. Yeah, I guess that works out. All I had to do was answer the phone. I sent a newsletter out because I got to put their name in there. They got to see their name, and for that, you got these people at every little party, everything that they're doing, they're out there talking your praises, how wonderful you're doing for them, how much they enjoy their Medicare, and the newsletters and the jokes and the this and the that and all the things you do. And pretty soon you got Marilyn giving you a call saying, Tim and Jenny just said you're the best. So that's how we do our business. Stay in touch every month. Newsletters, drip on them every month. Right? Personal notes. Write about something you did. That month we went to Minnesota in April and got stuck in a snowstorm. We got snowed in. And it was cold and nasty. And so anyway, the point was, that was a story of how we were sitting on a plane and, you know, I'm on Alaska Airlines, sitting on a plane in Minneapolis, and we're all boarded, normal stuff. They're pulling the chocks out. I was like, I'll be damned, we're going to get out of here. You know, it's just blizzarding out, terrible. It's like, how can you do this? So I'm on Facebook going, you know, congratulations, Alaska Airlines. These guys, man, I don't care what the weather is. They're just, you know, business as usual, right? About the second I hit send, oh, here come the chalks back in. You know, it's like, sorry, folks, you know, they couldn't get us de-iced in time and they just closed the airport. So second thing is I got on the phone, smartest thing I ever did. I got on the phone right away and I booked a hotel room because everybody else about the same time, there was nothing available. We came back the next day and all these people are laying on the floor in the airport because everybody got stuck. Well, we happened to get out of there, so got lucky. The point is, that was a story I shared just to kind of tell somebody a little bit about myself and what we did. No big deal. And you put it out, and it's just how much point we get back to that. I'll have a meeting next week, or kind of an annual, we'll have everybody come out, kind of a rah-rah, here's 2019. And people come up and they'll go, how was your daughter's surgery? How did you do that? I heard about your flight, you got stuck in Minnesota. The point is, they're reading this stuff every single month. They're following along. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so printing your newsletter. A couple ways of doing it. So I like color. Can we get, Kim? Can we get a color newsletter so we can kind of demonstrate what it looks like? I like color versus black and white. Color is expensive. You get color printers, they're expensive. You know, the ink and the toner and all that happy crap. Well, I'll tell you what I found. I found something, a printer that you can print two-sided color for less than a penny a page. Pretty cool, huh? So printing the newsletter. So it's the Epson EcoTank 4750 model. So if you peek around the corner, I just bought one. It's sitting over against that wall on the other side of this wall over here. I got one there. I got one in the office. I got two at home. There's a couple over here. So the EcoTanks, it's liquid ink, and the liquid ink is dirt cheap. You can get the stuff by a quart, and I get quarts of all this stuff, yellow, green, blue, black, like $60. It'll last for 40,000 newsletters. All right, so it's cheap. So the point is EcoTank. And I'll tell you what, if you get an EcoTank, I will actually rebate you $100. I will take Bridalwood bucks, rebate you $100 back on your EcoTank. Show me you bought it. I'll give you $100 back on it, because they were generally get them on sale for $399, about $400. I give you $100 back on it. Just that you're in the business, you're going to print your newsletters. You put two-sided newsletters out. We print this thing out. If you follow the system, it will work. All right. So that's the printer you want to get. EcoTank 4750. This thing holds about 250 sheets of paper. It prints two-sided. It's easy. The ink is dirt cheap, like I said. You just pour it in and away you go. So that's the ticket. That's what you want. All right. So printing a newsletter, you can go to FedEx. So FedEx printing, send it online, slick. So for those agents that are not here in San Diego, we've got them all over the place. For those that are not in San Diego, they're in New York, and they want to do a newsletter and have me send it out. No problem. I got the machines to do it. So they can get your EcoTank printer. They still got to get me their paper newsletter one way or the other. So we'll send it to FedEx. Start an order. I don't know if I went through the whole process with it. Start an order, do multi-sheet file, click your uploads. You upload your newsletter into it, and save it to the cart. See where it says we're going to order 200 newsletters. They're at 40 cents a piece, 48 cents a piece for $96. See that? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to add in our discount. So remember the $96. So we're going to go over here on the left, and it's going to say, do you have a FedEx account number? So I put the FedEx account number in we have, and we add the FedEx account number in, and click add, and look what happened. This $96 went to 24 bucks, right? So you just, this here? No, it actually, they print the whole thing up. So it's actual printed newsletters. I just go to the local FedEx office and go pick it up. So then I send them out. Yep. So we got the folding machines in the back. We send it through there. And I got folding machines that it takes the paper and folds it, stuffs it, inserts it in the envelope, licks it, the whole thing out the door goes. I can do 1,800 an hour, and I got two of them, so we can crank them.
We can hand you our own like letters too, our own envelopes. You can put them down.
Uh-huh. Yep. So if you got the envelopes, you got them all set up. I can run the envelopes through an envelope printer machine that prints the address right on the outside of the envelope. Then we take them to our folding machine and bang them out. Away we go. No staples. Did you staple that one?
I did just to show them.
Oh. Showed them what not to do. Don't do staples.
That's 204 sides.
4 sides, two-sided. Yep, four pages, two-sided. 24 bucks for 200. Yeah, so it's a decent rate, and actually the promo code that we use is actually Anthem Blue Cross, and they said use it. So I do. So it works great. So any of the printing that you're going to do, any printing that you're going to have done, if you do banners, Matt likes to do these booklets. fact, Kim, why don't you give me a booklet? I think it's in one of those ones I have to look at. So I stole Matt's idea, and I didn't ask for permission first. So Matt does these presentations. He does a good job, but he doesn't have to mess with all this electronic and trying to get this to talk to that and all this stuff. So you go into a room and you just flip through this flip chart. And Matt did it for us. And I thought, wow, that's really a cool idea. Let's do that. So I have these booklets made up. And here's one now. Thank you. So here's Matt Copley, stole his idea. So I had these things printed up at FedEx, and they use a discounted price, and we just walk through and do the presentation, and I do agent presentations with Matt Copley's great idea. Then I don't have to deal with screens and projectors and crap like that. So I do it. So anyway, works good. Thank you, Dad. Appreciate it. Anyway, point is, use that. That way we can do newsletters and use them nationwide. So wherever you're at, print your newsletter in. Bernie Ellebrecht, he's like, I don't have time to print. I'm busy. I'm in Cabo. So he just sends me his database, sends me his newsletter. I send it to FedEx. They print it up. They send me an email, say your newsletter's done. I send somebody either to Poway or Rancho Bernardo to pick up from the FedEx office. It's all prepaid. He paid for everything. I run it through the machines. Out the door she goes. So anyway, rules: do not staple. Print on both sides. 2 pieces of paper total. Don't 3 and 4 pages. I had one agent that did 4-page newsletter, but all 4 pages are on one side of the piece of paper. So I'll show you the machines a little bit, but I can print 2 pieces of paper, run it through. Do not use envelopes with pull tabs, nice clean envelopes, and do not collate. So I don't want 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I want all page 1, all second page, right? So then 2 separate.
So it's like one big piece that folds.
No, I want 2 separate pieces of paper.
I mean, can you do it so it's like a piece like this and it folds like this, so the newsletter's like a book?
Yeah, so it folds actually Z-shape. So it folds a long way.
The point is when the actual newsletter is printed, can we make it so this is like one piece and then it folds?
Yeah, I don't know if I can get it through like that. It's 2 separate pieces of paper.
Or would be the folding part to go, like the machine.
No, my point is if it's printed like this from FedEx with the thing down the line,
Uh-huh.
the machine can fold it, right?
If I can get it through, yeah. We can do it. We'll do it. Okay, so personalize your envelopes. So you want to get, again, like I said, you can use the envelopes, bridal envelopes. If you have your own, great, saves me money. If you want to use the bridal envelopes, figured the Bridalwood name is getting out there, so it's part of the advertising. But I want your customers to know it's coming from you, because all it's going to say is Bridalwood Insurance. It just has the logo. Everything underneath is you put your stamper on there, and you can stamp them. Now, once you're a big hitter, you want to go get your own envelopes and have them all printed up with your name and your stuff on it, hey, cool. But in the meantime, while we're starting out, we can just get this rubber stamp, and you can sit down for 5 minutes and knock out 100 envelopes, and out the door they go, and then all your customers know that they're coming from you. Yes. Come on up here. Nobody can hear you from home.
I was going to say, one thing we can do is send you a
Come here.
little,
Come here.
instructional
See,
video
get
or
the-
instructional
see,
sheet.
So
yeah.
say it over so everybody can hear you.
Okay, so what we can do is send you a little instructional sheet that shows you exactly how to order it on FedEx and has the code on it and everything. But there's certain paper weights that we need you to use because it throws his count off for the bulk rate if we have, like, somebody has real thick paper versus the normal paper. So it'll have everything very clearly outlined on there, how to do it and what to do, okay?
Clearly outlined. I love it. Okay, so homework is you're going to build your database. You're going to get a stamp made. And we're going to create your newsletter. So you got a busy week coming up. Busy week. Unless you don't have any customers, you don't have to worry about it. Still got to do a newsletter. I want you to practice. So practice putting something together.
Buy your machines from the guy over here. Script Power Parkway.
Folding machines? No, I bought them online. Yeah. So I bought them. Actually, they're out there. Actually, the first one, I bought it from a service. I think they're in San Diego. Guy kind of screwed. It was like $6,000. I paid up. Thought, oh, that's how much they were. Well, I found 2 or 3 of them since for about $1,200, $1,500 on eBay. had them shipped in, and I've got a service that comes out and services them. It's expensive. It's $300 an hour to get the guy out, but usually in an hour they can have this thing whipped up, and then away she goes. But these folding machines will do 2-3 million, cycles. If you get one that has 150,000 cycles on it. Oh, okay. Anyway.
I usually stick with
Jim, you had a question?
Yeah, what's your argument if you were to compare, because I do my newsletter through email.
Yep.
Mailing or email.
Terrific. Yep, good. I have, of the 2,000 I send out, there's probably 600 are email, the rest of are paper copy. A lot of people like the paper as a currency to use. A lot of them like the email that it comes out. Obviously, email is cheaper, and if you want to email, it's great. There's a service out there called Constant Contact that you can send it out, and then you can track your customers and see who's opened it and who hasn't. Even customers that are on the newsletter that I've had for years, I'm still only getting about 50% are opening it. Yeah.
I use MailChimp, that's the same thing.
All right, good. Yep. So yeah, if you can do email and got electronic, these people got it down. Frankly, there's some people in Medicare that they don't know how to turn a computer on, much less get it on there and go email and look at a PDF and do this, and it's just too much for them. But if I send them a letter, they'll definitely open it and they'll see it and they'll read it and they take it and they show it to their friends too. Yep. So good. So anyway, so we want to do this week, we want to build a database. We want to get your stamp made and create your newsletter. So Kim, you got a sign up sheet for everybody? And everybody that's home, we got a bunch of attendees at home here, is to email me, Jeff at Bridalwood Insurance. Let me know you're on board today. We're going to send out kind of the particulars and details of today's meeting and kind of give you some instructions of how to do it, what it looks like, the different font size you're going to want. So when you go into Staples and have this stamp made, it's about $20. We could actually give you online where you can order it, give you a link where you can go in and order it and get the sizes. So it's pretty much all laid out for you. Point is, don't reinvent the wheel. It works. Just do what we've already worked out and just kind of follow along. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of money, but I mean, if you get these things going and do this on a monthly basis, you'll have your business cranking here in a few months. All right. So what else have we got? That's about it. So we are into product training next week. So product training. So you guys are going to learn all the gory details of probably United and Scan here. So everybody licensed? Yes. Everybody's Medicare license. You're coming up. All right. Do you have an insurance license yet? So California insurance license is first.
Right.
And then all the other stuff goes on top of it. So it's a process, but once you get her going, you'll be good. So anything else? I know where we run on time today. Where are we at? Oh yeah, we're 15 minutes early. Good. Well, that's it. That's it for today. Thank you very, very much for coming, and I will talk to everybody at home next week. Thank you.